Welcome, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between. Jackie has a sports show. You, yourself, are tuning in to the very sports show, and I much appreciate it. How's it been the past couple days? Tune into some basketball, keeping up, getting yourself hyped up for the NFL the NFL scouting combine, which we'll touch on for a little bit. Been keeping up with that. I'm going to be working most of the time it's going on. I might be able to check out Sunday and Monday's portion, which Monday is offensive lineman. And being that I played offensive line, I'm going to be keeping up with that. But today we're going to touch on the scouting combine. Zach Wilson being to give him permission to seek a trade out of New York. Got some wrestling topics I want to talk about, and then some NBA topics that I want to talk about, and then I'll get out of your hair, and we'll all have a good day, and I will see you on Tuesday. So, before we get into the show officially, obviously, make sure you like, rate, and share, especially rating, especially sharing. Really, really helps me out. Please, 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 if you are listening to it right now, stop, open your phone. If you're at work right now, go to the bathroom, open your phone, rate it 5 stars. It really, really helps me out. Or share it word of mouth, or you want to share it on whatever platform you got, whichever one you want to do. I'd much appreciate it. That being said, all the socials are in the description, and I will say them at the end of the episode. Let's get into the episode, and let's talk basketball first. I have this problem with NBA blowouts. NBA, did I say MBA? NBA blowouts. Yesterday, I wanted to watch two games. I wanted to watch the Warriors take on, who do they take on? Luckily, I got it pulled up on my phone. The Warriors take on the Knicks. I thought it'd be interesting. And then at 9 o'clock, the Nuggets were playing the Heat. And I was like, I believe they played earlier in the season. But NBA Finals rematch for at least one game should be fun. And then the Warriors went up 20-4 in the first quarter. And I was like, do I really want to watch this? They ended up beating the Knicks 110-99, so only like an 11-point win. So I guess it really wasn't that bad, but that first quarter, man, the Knicks could not hit a single shot. They could not hit they couldn't buy a bucket, dude. It was ugly. It was awful. Klay Thompson was doing great. That was probably the most fun I was having with it. Steph got a little hot in the first quarter. And then I was like, I have more interesting things that I want to watch right now. And then at 9 o'clock, I turned on the Nuggets and Heat. I was like, okay. It was like neck and neck for the first couple possessions, right? Like midway through the first quarter. Not midway, but a good quarter through the first quarter. It was like 9-7. And then the Nuggets went up like 31-16. And I was like, do I want to watch this? Do I want to watch this? Like, I have to learn the lesson that basketball, like 10, 15, even 20-point leads can be erased in a second. I kind of learned that lesson when Ja returned before he got injured. The first game back, I believe they were playing the Jazz or someone like that, and they were down by 30 at halftime, and they ended up making a comeback, and I didn't watch the second half because I was like, I saw Ja come back. Game's not interesting, though. The Grizzlies still suck. And then I turn on the ESPN app, and it says the Grizzlies came back, and I was like, come on, dude. So I guess I really need to learn that lesson because in football, a team goes down by 3 scores, it's over. Game's over. There's a few exceptions, but most of the time the game is over. So in the NBA, I really, really got to learn that. And then all of a sudden, I have to mention this. I didn't keep up with the game because I didn't think it'd be a great one, but it turned out to be a great one. The Spurs beat the Thunder 132-110. What? I know the Spurs were at home. For people, if you're watching the video, I'm looking off to the side because my phone. It's 132-118. And Wemby had like 28, 13, and 7. Oh my God. And then he grabbed the mic and apparently shouted to the crowd a word that he's not supposed to say on live TV and told them how much he missed playing in front of them, which you love to see. I watched the first couple Spurs games this season, and Victor Wembanyama got limited minutes, and in those minutes, he looked very stiff. He looked very sloppy. He could shoot a three, he could block, but that was pretty much it. It is so cool to see how much he's progressed. He can do quite literally every single thing on the court, and he can do every single thing on the court pretty well. It's cool to see that progression in just one season. Because y'all will remember, go watch highlights from like early San Antonio Spurs games this season. He wasn't great. Now, a lot of people were saying, oh, he's already a bust, oh, he's already overrated or whatever. And y'all know I'm not down with that kind of talk. But he wasn't great. He was getting used to the NBA game. He was very stiff. He was very slow. He was very sloppy. He was a tall. He just looked like a big guy that could shoot a three. And now he can do literally everything. And it's very fun to watch. I'm very upset that I decided to try to watch the Nuggets Heat game and the Warriors Knicks game over that game. I'm very, very upset I decided to do that. Another NBA story, though, that I want to talk about. The NBA is now exploring rule changes to better the balance of the game. The league apparently feels as if the game, the way it's refereed, the way the rules are set up, favor the offensive side too much, which has been a big criticism of the NBA for a little bit, big criticism of the NFL, big criticism for pretty much every sport that's trying to make it like, oh, fans want, more scoring, higher games and whatever. And this, I hope this sets the precedent that we want to see good games. It's fun. Like, I have to make this a football comparison because I know football. At least I don't know basketball near to the extent I know football. The games of the Rams and Chiefs a couple of years ago, that Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes duel on Monday Night Football, those games are stupid fun to watch when there's just no defense being played. If y'all don't remember that, you probably do, but if y'all don't remember that and you don't watch football and you only watch like the Super Bowl, Eagles Patriots. No defense being played, just both offenses going up and down the field, scoring back and forth all game, right? Those are definitely fun to watch. But you know what's also fun to watch? A very intelligent defensive masterclass, right? This past um this past Super Bowl we was close to that. Steve Spagnuolo versus Steve Wilkes. Both defenses were playing very good. It was very low scoring. And this is what I think was awesome about this past Super Bowl. And I hate that I'm turning an NBA topic into a football topic. Well, I'm using football examples, so y'all can get over it. But this past Super Bowl is getting recognized as one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. At the very least, one of the greatest Super Bowls in the past 20 years, which I think is awesome because it wasn't a high scoring game. It wasn't both offenses being these prolific, unbeatable forces. It was very, very good defense being played until a seal finally broke. Now, you can point to the Rams Patriots Super Bowl being low scoring, and I used to say, like, oh, you just don't like defense. No, the issue was that game was sloppy as shit. Jared Goff froze. That entire Rams offense collapsed. This past Super Bowl was just defenses playing phenomenal defense. And I hope that we can move towards a future in sports where offense is not regarded as that's the moneymaker, That's what we have to do. We have to put up all these points. We have to make sure that the defense is just there to make some tackles so it doesn't get too outrageous. But fans want to see scoring. That's all fans want to see. Now, fans want to see a good game. And if you can finally help out the defensive side of the ball, whether that's basketball, whether that's football, baseball, hockey, whatever you want to do, I guess that'd be the other side of the puck. But all these sports that are moving towards a more offensive oriented game. And I know these criticisms are mainly for the NFL and NBA, as they should be. I just hope that the NBA does look into this, does find a problem, and we can move towards having a balanced game rather than offense is going to sell tickets, so let's just make it stupid easy or much, much, much easier for guys to score. Am I saying like now we should bring back, you know, someone driving in the paint and getting clotheslined and punched and thrown to the ground? No. In football, am I saying that a receiver catching a crossing route should take a helmet to the chin by Ed Reed? No. Not saying that. I'm just saying that these rules have obviously favored the offense for so long now. It's been moving towards that. And the NBA, under Adam Silver at least, because that's when I've been key. I know David Stern, I hear, was a great commissioner, or I hear was a good commissioner, but Adam Silver honestly has done a really good job with the NBA. In my opinion, outside point of view, especially the weirdo we have in the NFL, Roger Goodell. He does some good things, but he gets criticized the way he does for a reason. I think Adam Silver, as a professional sports commissioner, does a much better job and can spearhead this change that I think is desperately needed in professional sports. So I'm excited that the NBA is exploring this. I hope that this invokes change around the professional sports world as a whole. So let's move on to some football, and we'll end it with wrestling just in case y'all don't care about wrestling and you can tune out then. Let's talk about the scouting combine just because I don't have a lot to say. Honestly, the NFL scouting combine came up this weekend. And this entire week, I was seeing people say, "Oh, it's Scouting Combine week." Oh, teams on TikTok were posting their players giving weird faces while running the 40-yard dash. And I sat back and I was like, when is the NFL Scouting Combine? Because I didn't know. I thought it was a little bit later in March. And I looked up and I was like, oh, it starts today. And I was looking at it yesterday. But the defensive ends, defensive tackles, I believe linebackers went yesterday. And a couple people that apparently stood out was NC State Peyton Wilson. Apparently ran a stupid good 40-yard dash and three-cone drill, which you love to see. Linebacker coming out of NC State. NC State has come with some good defensive players. Bradley Chubb comes to mind immediately. Dallas Turner showed out, but Dallas Turner is probably the best edge rusher in the draft. T'Vondre Sweat out of Texas, along with Byron Murphy II, which I heard a lot about Byron Murphy II. Didn't hear a lot about T'Vondre Sweat. I heard some things saying that this guy was going to be phenomenal, which showed up and showed out. Chop Robinson out of Penn State, again, maybe the second best edge rusher behind Dallas Turner. Of course, you still got Jared Verse coming out of Florida State. Speaking of Florida State, a guy that showed up that I'm actually kind of happy about, Braden Fisk, coming out of Florida State University. First off, I'm excited because Braden Fisk immediately has a phenomenal nickname once he enters the NFL and possibly makes an impact. He's Kingpin. He's Kingpin. Wilson Fisk, Spider-Man, Deadpool, Marvel. He's got a great nickname already, and I watched him in the ACC championship against Louisville, and he was all over the field. He was tearing apart that Louisville offense. He was so fun to watch. So when I started, last night looking up who was showing up and showing out and which names were being brought up, I was very, very happy to see Braden Fisk. I would not mind. I don't think the Titans are going to target defensive line at all, but I know Braden Fisk might be round three kind of cap, maybe round two, depending on how far he jumps up. But I'm very happy that a guy that I had a lot of fun watching, that I was like, oh, this guy could be a problem, is rising in draft boards. One guy I did not hear about that I was kind of disappointed, and I'm going to look his name up while I talk about him to make sure I'm not like tripping and he declined an invite, is Leonard Taylor III out of Miami. Did he not get an invite to the combine? He did. Huh. Because I did not. Let's a live look at what Leonard Taylor III did. Because I was not reading anything too. Ooh, what's that? What's that? What's that? What is that? What is that? Stop! Stop it! I know y'all can't hear that, but whatever. Apparently, he got graded just an average prospect. Really? 15th in combine results. Oh, he ran a 5.1. He ran the three cone in 7.8 seconds. Man, man. So if y'all don't know, and I'm sorry that that was kind of, but I did a quote unquote film review of Leonard Taylor III a couple months ago, I believe around Thanksgiving, on the Own Accord Pod YouTube channel. Make sure to go check them out. They're great fellows. And I really liked him. I had some problems, including him coming off way too high, but I thought that he would show up in the combine. He looked like a pretty solid athlete, and I guess not. So he's going to end up slipping further and further down. That sucks, dude. Like I said that I didn't like he looked like he would just get washed out of plays too often, and I'm sorry this is turning into a Leonard Taylor III thing, but he would come off too high and just get bullied. Sometimes he would be able to bully a guard or bully a center or even bull rush a tackle, but a lot of the times he just stand straight up, get washed out of the play. But I thought he looked like a pretty good athlete. I guess that's me being wrong because this is really that was my first ever film analysis on a player. So I was mostly winging it. I decided to do defensive lineman because I played defensive lineman, so I know what to look for. Same with offensive line. I know, like, I'm sorry, I'm going on a little bit of a ramble here, but a lot of guys in my field, I really hoped that would not stop the video. A lot of guys in my sphere do a lot of film study on a lot of players, and I commend that. I don't have a lot of time because I have a real job and a lot of responsibilities to take care of, so I can't do in-depth film studies on everybody. But what I can do, if someone wants to ask me, I can do offensive line, I can do defensive line because I played it. I know what to look for, I know how it's coached. I'm not saying I'm the most knowledgeable about offensive and defensive line, but I can bring that perspective and I can know what I'm looking for. Obviously, it still needs a little work, but yeah, I don't know what that was about. But y'all checking out the scouting combine? I forget who does it today. I know offensive line is Monday. I think quarterbacks, receivers, and running backs are Saturday. I think tight ends are Sunday. And DBs maybe are today. Maybe something. I know for certain offensive line is on Monday. So let me know what y'all think of the scouting combine and let me know what players to really look out for that y'all are looking out for. Socials in the description. So let's talk Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson has been given permission by the New York Jets to seek a trade. Now, this relationship has gotten very, very ugly. You saw it as soon as Robert Salah had to send out Zach Wilson on the field. He was not happy about it. He was not happy about it in the slightest. If you could take a measuring contest on the most unhappiest boy in a stadium full of very unhappy boys, that was Robert Salah when Aaron Rodgers went down. And then Zach Wilson's relationship with Aaron Rodgers eroded. Apparently, rumors came out or reports came out that Aaron Rodgers got hurt and just stopped talking to Zach Wilson, which sucks because Zach Wilson was so hyped about being behind Aaron Rodgers, his childhood hero. So he's asking to be traded, and the Jets said, okay, we'll trade you. They're not going to get a lot for Zach Wilson, but there is a couple teams that would be very interesting. The teams really being thrown around are the Rams, the Vikings, and I believe the Raiders, which is all interesting. And let's go through. Well, let's go through some teams that I added as well. I thought the Patriots might be interesting. They obviously have fallen out of love with Mac Jones. Bailey Zappi for sure is in the future. You have reports coming out that they're going to go after a quarterback, and they're definitely in a position to do so in the draft. To get Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams is going to be gone. Drake May is going to be gone, no matter if the Bears pick Drake May and the Commanders pick Caleb Williams or they swap. You might be able to get, or you are most likely going to be able to get Jaden Daniels. But trading for Zach Wilson wouldn't be a bad idea and could be very interesting going from the Jets to the Patriots. The Broncos trading for Zach Wilson, being, they're not really sure what they're going to be doing at quarterback. They're in a spot in the draft. Do they even have first round pick? I don't think they do. Because after that year, well, they might, but they're definitely not in contention for any top quarterback if they do. So, trading for Zach Wilson, I'm not saying he needs to be the starter, but say, keep Russell Wilson around for one more year, even though I know that the relationship between Russ and the Broncos organization has severely eroded. I also put down the Steelers. The Steelers seem to be very interested in getting a new face at quarterback in that building that's not Kenny Pickett. Now, they really want Justin Fields, apparently, even though, who did I see that was going heavy for Justin Fields? I think it was the Falcons that were going heavy for Justin Fields. It makes a lot of sense. And the Falcons really, I didn't put them down, but they'd be interesting too. Just getting Zach Wilson in there. He can't be the starter, and he needs to learn behind a vet, which is why I think the Vikings and the Rams make the most sense. So the Vikings are really happy with Kirk Cousins. You listen to Kevin O'Connell talk, you listen to their GM talk, they're very, very high on Kirk Cousins. They love Kirk Cousins. They want to keep him around for the next couple of years. They think he's a great quarterback, which bodes well because Justin Jefferson loves Kirk Cousins, and that makes you think they are going to get a deal done with Justin Jefferson. But Kirk Cousins is getting older, and we don't know how he's going to be post-injury. So getting Zach Wilson to learn behind Kirk Cousins, and I know what y'all saying. Kirk Cousins isn't a great quarterback, so Zach Wilson can't learn anything. But listen, if you think that, you're an idiot, right? You're an idiot. Kirk Cousins has been in this league a while, been a decent quarterback for a while, and then been a good quarterback for a while. Zach Wilson can learn a lot of things from Kirk Cousins, including how to be a pro. Outside of a couple dumbass homophobic stuff, Kirk Cousins is a pretty clean-cut guy. Doesn't get in trouble, doesn't do bad shit. Stop cursing, Jack. He got a grill, by the way. Did you see that? Did you see Kirk Cousins got a grill? What is going on? Is he taking Big Kirko? Is he taking that personality so far? Is he really taking it that far? I'm gonna look it up to see if that was an AI photo. But did y'all see this? Kirk Cousins got a grill. Like I said, I'm looking it up after this podcast comes out. But I saw that and I was like, "There's no way. There's no way." I know he did the big Kirko bit for the NFL scripted commercial, and he does the plain stuff, but there's no way he got a grill. But I'm saying all this. The Vikings could bring Zach Wilson in. Of course, they're not going to trade a lot for a backup quarterback that may start in a couple of years when Kirk Cousins eventually either gets traded or retires. So who knows? But the other place that has an even older quarterback, a better quarterback, a borderline Hall of Fame quarterback that I don't think is a Hall of Famer, but everybody else believes is a Hall of Famer, the Los Angeles Rams trading for Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson gets to learn, you know, from one of the greatest offensive minds in football right now, and Sean McVay gets to learn under one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league right now, one of the top quarterbacks in the league right now. Definitely one of the greatest talents ever in Matthew Stafford. And from all accounts, Matthew Stafford is a stupidly good teammate. Would have no problem teaching Zach Wilson. Matthew Stafford, I believe he came in, 2009? Doesn't have a lot of years left, right? This will be year 15 or 16 for him. Now, I know quarterbacks' lifespans are extended now, but doesn't have a lot left in the tank. Has a little less than Kirk Cousins. So if I'm Zach Wilson, let's go to the Rams first. Then we'll discuss the Vikings, and then after that, the talent gets really short because those are two teams that could look up for backups to replace their older guys soon, and there's not a lot of teams like that in the league. Like in the South, the Panthers have the quarterback of the future. The Bucks, yeah, you could learn under Baker, but he hasn't really gotten to that level of vet yet. The Saints seem pretty fine with Derek Carr and Jameis Winston. In the West, you have the Rams, but you also have the Cardinals, who seem to be fine with Kyler Murray and not going to do a lot over there. The Seahawks seem to be fine with Geno and Drew. The 49ers are cool with Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold. Don't really see a point in them going for Zach Wilson. The Packers are fine with Jordan Love. No point in them going after Wilson. The Lions don't have a reason. The Bears don't have a reason. In the East, the Cowboys don't have a reason. The Giants, maybe, but the Giants seem to really like Daniel Jones. They paid him all that money, so they're kind of hoping he works out. The Commanders are going to draft a quarterback. The Eagles are fine with Jalen Hurts. They do have a rotation of backup guys, but they're they'd be just fine with going to get one in free agency and not trading for one. In the AFC North, I did put the Steelers. The Browns obviously are cool with being enablers. The Bengals are cool. The Ravens are cool. In the East, the Bills aren't going to trade for a backup. I said the Patriots might be interesting. The Dolphins aren't going to trade for a backup. In the South, they're all rocking with their young guys and no real reason to trade for a backup. In the West, the Chiefs definitely aren't trading for a backup. The Raiders could be interesting. I said the Broncos could be interesting, and the Chargers are not trading for a backup. So the best possible position you could put yourself in is being a backup for the Rams or the Vikings. Now that all the fake sports are out of the way, let's talk some wrestling. I was listening to some Dusty Rhodes promos the other day. The American Dream Daddy. I was listening to his promos. I was listening to some Ric Flair promos. And I really thought to myself, there is really no great promo guys, no great talkers. There's guys that do it well right now. I think CM Punk is really, really good. I think Roman Reigns is really good. I love what MGF does on the mic. But outside of them, when I look around, when I hear these people giving promos, even guys like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins can give a good one every now and then, but most of the time it's so cringy. Like you think back to Austin and Rock, even though Rock, I like promos that seem like you are having a real conversation with someone you have a problem with, or a friend of yours, or you legitimately want to get something off your chest. I like it to feel natural, not some rehearsed, written script. I like it to feel natural. A lot of people like, and I brought up The Rock because The Rock does cut a great promo. A lot of people like to say, "Oh, he's doing catchphrase lion." Shut up and have fun. The reason I love The Rock, even though he does not fit that criteria exactly, is because there's enough showmanship, there's enough flair in his presentation of those promos that make it stupid entertaining. But for me, that's what makes a good promo. Guys like Seth Rollins, guys like, Cody Rhodes, even like Rhea Ripley, Bailey, it just feels so like you're playing a character. You know what I mean? Especially like tone and cadence goes a long way for me. I cannot stand or I can stand them, but I get very annoyed almost instantly with Cody Rhodes promos because he talks like this. Or that's not, was a The Rock, I will see you, and then he talks like this. I hope I'm doing that justice. It sounded a whole lot better in my head. But the big gasps of breath that Cody Rhodes takes, and then he'll speed up his speech, and it's even though it's sped up, it sounds like it's stopping and it's starting, and then he'll say like two words, big gasp, three words, big gasp, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I go back and I watch Cena promos, or I guess Randy Orton is working, and Randy Orton is a phenomenal promo, but Randy Orton's, Cena's, Punk's, Triple H, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, all of these guys are so good on the mic and they make it sound so natural. Like this is what they actually mean. They are getting this off their chest. They hate you, and this is what they legitimately think about you. They love you, and this is what they legitimately think about you. I don't feel that in like modern day WWE. I don't feel that. I don't feel that in modern day pro wrestling. And this isn't some new take of mine. I've had this take for a while, and I've gotten pushback on it. But genuinely, I just I don't feel the authenticity when it comes to promos with most of the guys and gals working today. I just don't. For wrestling fans, let me know what you think. For everybody else, Jackie's got a sports show, and you just tuned into that sports show, and I much appreciate you tuning in to this sports show. Let me know what y'all thought of these topics. Tweet at me at jjester615. Tweet at the show's Twitter at Jackie's Show. That's with one little s and one big S. Follow me on TikTok. Try to post 3, 4, 5 times a day. Not always 5, but most of the time I usually get 3 out there. Email me, questions, comments, concerns, whatever you want to do. oldjackieboy1021 at gmail.com. That is OLE JackieBoy1021 at gmail.com. I also got another podcast with my boy Z, Red Light Homies. Post every Monday. We also got a TikTok of the same name. Subscribe to the YouTube and listen on Spotify. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all on Tuesday. Peace.